the builder of movements, the true leader of our generation, our national convener, Comrade Floyd Shivambu.
Amandla, Amandla, Mayibuye, iAfrica. No, thank you very much, Skim, and thank you very much, my brother, for the word of encouragement to young people and to highlight the correct fact that it might look glamorous from far, but crime does not pay, and we must not be tempted, all of us, to associate with criminal activity. And it's good that after having lived a youthful life which was involved with wrongdoing, Scheme is playing a very important role in conscientizing society around the dangers of crime. We really appreciate the work that is doing to society. Now, comrades, the leadership is going to respond to some of the issues that are coming out of the interventions that happened today here. First, we want to appreciate the composition of all of us who came here today. I'm actually so pleased that we got to listen to diverse perspective. I'm particularly pleased as well that we got to interact with the youth who are still in high school. Your name is Mongezi. Yes, very, very clear perspectives that got to hear. It's always inspiring, and we should always have these interactions from time to time so that we are able to shape a clearer view and what we need to do. There's an issue which I think must be taken up by everyone. We had taken that issue in our previous responsibilities. The issue of the cancellation of student debt, that it doesn't make sense that universities can hold the qualifications of students because they owe them some 5,000 rand, 2,000 rand. And there are so many degrees and diplomas which are held by universities of poor students, and they do not want to release them. So when we served a long time ago as members of the National Financial Aid Scheme, we had put a proposal that NSFAS must pay for all the students who are owing and then make an arrangement that they must be given their degrees, all of them. That is why even the legislation which was introduced now in Parliament, the student debt cancellation bill, we initiated that directive that let us pursue that. In the beginning of last year, in the beginning of the academic year, last year in 2024, we held back-to-back with then Minister of Higher Education, President Zuma, and making a solemn plea that let's cancel all the student debt and give students their degrees and diplomas. And you know what is strange about these deployees of the ANC, even when in principle they agree with something, they've got no means and capacity to realize such in terms of what. Now, comrades, generally in politics, there's very good interventions that we received even yesterday in the Eastern Cape. I hear coming is that as political leadership, we carry an obligation and a revolutionary obligation to conscientize society or to make society aware of what is happening in the political life of the country, in the economic life of the country, so that we can present solid and sound alternatives. Because sometimes people think that everything else is normal. sometimes because of lack of knowledge, because of hidden information. There are people who, by the way, still believe that the ANC is a liberation movement. There are people who still believe that. When all evidence is laid bare that this is not a liberation movement, it's an instrument in the hands of our colonizers. It's used for entrenchment of white privilege and white wealth. The biggest beneficiaries, the people who benefited the most from 1994 up until now, is the white capitalist establishment. White people got richer and richer in the first 30 years of so-called democracy. And they got richer using the ANC because it is their project. They were able to subjugate it and control it for their own benefits. That is why the white capitalists, the white rich people, could fund ANC conferences and choose candidates as to who must be elected as ANC president. It's because it is their project. They had a huge sway over President Mandela. Yesterday it was Mandela. And the people of South Africa are very vigilant. You know, a lot of people even forgot it's President Mandela Day because at some stage, the establishment had control of President Mandela and his ideas of freedom. At some stage, they had control of the entire ANC or the dominant faction of the ANC. And we can't not say that. You know, even the most accomplished theoreticians in the world, for Karl Marx to come with the theory of scientific socialism, he had to write a book about capitalism, volumes and volumes on capital, to critique the nature of capital and the exploitative nature of capital. We are not going to waste more time critiquing the existing political parties, but we will tell the people of South Africa that some of these political parties that pose or act like they are liberators, they are not. They are actually scams. They are imposters' projects who pose as if they are revolutionaries, but there is nothing revolutionary about them. Who expropriate the language of revolution, but there's nothing revolutionary about them. When the time is right, we will write down to illustrate basic things. Do you know, I gave an example one day where a leader of a revolutionary party was refusing the removal of bucket toilets in Ekurhuleni because that person is the one who's supplying bucket toilets and is a leader of a revolutionary movement. When we push, they say, no, Floyd wants to destroy my business. And you know the bucket toilets, how humiliating they are. Those toilets, they get full with excrement, with human waste. And there is no honeysucker that comes to collect those things. But someone says, no, that is his business. You have got revolutionary leaders when there is resolution on insourcing of workers, insourcing of security guards, but they line up security companies so that the municipality pays them 20,000 rand per security guard, and they give that security guard 3,000 rand, and they don't see anything wrong with that. How are people going to know? Because when they go and appear in platforms, they say we are revolutionary, we are here for insourcing, building of state capacity. But in practice, and we can illustrate on many occasions. We can illustrate on many occasions and instances where there is nothing revolutionary. And you know what is even much more painful is that because they thought sometimes that we are same with them. Whenever there are no cameras, they will say their real intentions of a political program and say, no, these things that you talk about, Floyd, are just too much. Leave those things. We must make money here. That if we can make 1 billion from each municipality, then we're sorted. And these are the things that you have to deal with. How are people going to know without you talking about that? Because we must caution the whole of society before they fall into a ditch that stay away from what appears to be revolutionary projects. There is nothing revolutionary about that. And as if that is not enough, some even go to the extent of inducting young political leaders on how to steal government money. Induction. People who are deployed in government are called to be given an induction on how to steal government money. And how do we not say that? How do we not caution society about that? And then, it's like that. And we have to expose the weaknesses of the system so that, because people will say, no, but you have never given us a proper critique, or you have never told us about these things. We will talk about the details of what Mayibuye is going to do differently, but we have to be brutally honest about the true character of the existence. We know the ANC is beyond repair. We know that the other formations as well are not true liberation forces. The other one, there was an issue we're dealing with of Morocco now. Morocco is a colonizer country. It is in colonial occupation of Western Sahara. All the liberation movement in the African continent have been saying, let us liberate Western Sahara. All the liberation movement, all the progressive forces in the world, they've been calling for the liberation of Western Sahara. But because Morocco went to give money, or is promising to give money to the leadership of Umkhonto weSizwe through Makasala Mzobe and Duduzile Zuma. President Zuma is in Morocco now to say, Morocco, there's nothing wrong with Morocco occupying Western Sahara against revolutionary forces in the world. And what do you call that? Sacrificing principle on the altar of money. How do we not expose that? Because people will not know, will think, no, this is a revolution, or following revolution. And if we don't expose that, it becomes, but that is not going to be our politics. Our politics will be politics of change. Our politics will be politics of free education. Our politics will be politics of massive industrial expansion to create jobs for our people. Our politics will be to respect and honor royal, legitimate leadership that prioritizes the interest of our people. Our politics will be to honor religious leaders who honor themselves and respect their communities. Our politics will be about pushing real developmental agenda, which will end poverty. Our politics will be about ending inequalities. Our politics will be about redress of the economic imbalances of the past. Our politics will be fighting crime. Our politics will be real rejuvenation of those that have been in criminal situations but can still be mainstreamed back into society now. Those will be the politics that we push for. But we will do so with honesty. And we will do so not being a cult, that everything else that I say is final. We will do so with openness. That is what we are talking about in terms of all of these issues. But I really appreciate the otherwise very substantial inputs that we've got to receive today. I'm more interested myself in giving a structural character and form of the youth voices. I've got names here, but I don't think I must read the names before I canvass with the leadership, because everything else that we do here, we must first canvass amongst ourselves as leadership. So, amongst those of you who are here, and also taking into consideration the names of those who are submitted by the provinces that could not attend today, KwaZulu-Natal, Western Cape, Northern Cape, Eastern Cape, the coastal provinces, we will constitute a task team on youth and students, Mayibuye Youth and Students Task Team, which must autonomously go and discuss, even if it's a team of 20, 21 people, but all provinces must be represented. I'm interested as well with direct representation of students from secondary schools as well. Not that it's just university students and the young people who are working. It must be everyone, so that there is a balanced composition of that. And then you must get time to sit a smaller team of not more than 21 people to discuss autonomously what do we do with how we organize youth and students in Mayibuye. Do we form one organization that is Mayibuye Youth and Students, or do we form two organizations, one Mayibuye Youth Movement, the other one Mayibuye Students Movement? Or what becomes the approach? What becomes the immediate things? The reason why we want you to engage in that process is because when we go to the national convention, which will launch iAfrica Mayibuye as a movement, we want the youth to be already organized by then. It must not be, we're launching now, we're going to organize the youth later. We want the youth to be organized. We want students to be organized. We want the women structure to be organized as well. We want the structure for religious sector to be organized. We want the structure, if needs be, of royal leadership to be organized, so that we know who do we deal with in different sectors of society. And then we're able to move from there. And comrades, we have to be impatient on how we organize. What causes and drives revolutions is impatience. There's nothing wrong with impatience in a revolution. Because if you're too patient in a revolution, you'll be 60 years old and you only realize later that nothing has changed. Nothing has changed, and then you'll be going door to door in television stations and criticizing people when you had the time to take a decision, you didn't take that decision. So we will constitute a movement. So we will, after consultation as well with the province, some of the names that we have, we might find that the province had other ideas about those names for the roles that they can play at the regional and sub-regional level. But we will constitute a task team, and then we get you time to meet by yourselves, and then you write a comprehensive report on how to organize ourselves as Mayibuye youth and students and what becomes the way forward. And out of that meeting of yourselves only and alone, you must also propose a program of action on youth and students consultations. When do you go to institutions of higher learning? When do you go to high schools? What becomes the character and nature of your consultations? When ourselves who are busy with traditional leaders and churches and provinces, the youth and students must be consulting as well, doing the work so that we have a clearer perspective on what is to be done. Thank you very much, comrades. Let's allow the other